As many of you know, I'm a bibliophile. I love books, love to read. And the United States of America has produced a number of outstanding authors, many of whom are not as read as they once were. I think of famous American authors of the 19th century, for example, Washington Irving, Edgar Allan Poe, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Herman Melville, Harriet Beecher Stowe, Henry David Thoreau, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, Mark Twain, Emily Dickinson, among others. But my personal favorite from the 19th century is a man named Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was an observer of life, and he had the amazing ability to capture snapshots of life and to package them in a literary way that is just downright memorable. He once said, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." Another famous line, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." He also had some things to say about the Lord's Supper. Before resigning his post as a Christian minister at Boston's Second Church, which was a Unitarian congregational church, he argued that, number one, the Lord's Supper was not intended to be a permanent institution. Number two, that it took too much attention away from God and put too much attention on Jesus. Number three, that the use and elements of the Lord's Supper, however suitable to the ancient Near East, are, quote, foreign and unsuited to us. I apprehend that their use is rather tolerated than loved by any of us, he said. Number four, that as an outward form, the importance ascribed to this particular ordinance is not consistent with the spirit of Christianity. And number five, he says, it is my desire in the office of Christian minister to do nothing which I cannot do with my whole heart. I have no hostility toward the institution. I am only stating my want of sympathy with it. That is the end of my opposition, that I am not interested in it. Rather than taking issue with each separate point, I want to draw your attention to the last of those points. The idea that if I don't see any relevance to it, or if I'm not getting much out of it, then I think I'll pass, because I cannot do it with a whole heart. Never mind that Jesus is the one who instituted it and said, "Do this in memory of me." But it has occurred to me that a lot of people have the same objection to it that Ralph Waldo Emerson did. I'm not getting anything out of it, so I'll pass. Of course, the same thing could be said of any number of memorials or monuments. July 4th, Memorial Day, President's Day. So since the significance is lost on some, they choose not to attach any particular significance to it, and a lost significance becomes a lost opportunity. But however important other memorials may or may not be, this one is loaded with significance. The Bible teaches that it is a memorial, that it is a communion, that it is a covenant reenactment, that it is a reminder of God's love, that it is a reminder of the second coming of Christ. that it is a multidimensional experience leaking past, present, and future, that it is a focal point of everything the Old Testament looked forward to, and that finally it is the foundation of our New Testament, New Covenant hope. But you already know that. If you are here week after week hearing these Lord's Supper talks, we do not need to remind you of the many layers of depth to help you appreciate its significance, to cause it to impact you profoundly and even change your life. For all the depth of thought for which I appreciate Ralph Waldo Emerson giving to so many other subjects, I think that he only skimmed the surface on this one. And if we ever begin to sympathize with those thoughts, that this ordinance is somehow unworthy of our time and investment and interest, then I would challenge you. If you want to get out of this what the Lord intended, then you might need to put more into it. Jesus certainly did. He gave everything he had to give. And so if this is not the most important event of your week, then you do not appreciate what a great blessing the Lord intends for this to be for you. Perhaps we all need some more greater spiritual focus as our heart swells up in appreciation for the high and noble honor that we even have the privilege to partake of these emblems. As a footnote, Ralph Waldo Emerson not only walked away from his ministerial post and his local church, but for all intents and purposes, he walked away from his faith. Are you surprised? When the hour came, he reclined at table and the apostles with him. And he said to them, I have earnestly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you that I will not eat it until it is accomplished in the kingdom of God. And he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he said, take this and divide it among yourselves. For I tell you that from now on, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes. And he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, this is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. And likewise the cup after they had eaten, saying, this cup that is poured out for you is the new covenant in my blood. I hope that you partake with all the significance, rich significance, that Jesus intended for you, and the rich significance for which he gave his life for you.